Welcome back to another episode of Reading to the 246. My name is Karen Wall, but you can call me Auntie Karen. Reading to the 246 is a space where children of all ages, including us adults, can learn facts about Barbados, islands, and countries around the world. We've just celebrated National Heroes Day here in Barbados, and our recently named national hero, the Honourable Rihanna Fenty, is about to become a mom. And if you've guessed it, since we are in the month of May, we are going to be celebrating some of our sheroes. Hence, I'm pleased to have as my first shero this evening, author and mentor, Sharnette Donacien. Welcome, Sharnette.
Hi, Karen. Thank you so much for having me.
Sharnette was born in a quiet, sleepy fishing village on the beautiful Caribbean island of St. Lucia. She grew up in the UK and now lives in the Netherlands with her husband and two kids. Sharnette is a former financial advisory expert who pivoted from the corporate world to follow her passion and fulfill her dreams of becoming a published children's picture book author. She considers herself a natural storyteller, someone who has always enjoyed writing songs, poetry, and short stories. When she's not writing, she loves to cook and eat, of course, and listen to music. Welcome again, Sharna.
Thank you. What a wonderful introduction.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about yourself and the inspiration that went into writing Ada's Wash Day.
Like you said, I'm from a small fishing village called Choiseul Village in St. Lucia. My mum will be very proud that I've managed to get the name of the village there because she keeps saying, you don't mention the name, you have to mention the name. So yes, I'm from Choiseul, which is in the south of the island. I was born there with my family. The majority of my family are from St. Lucia and Choiseul. I actually moved to the UK when I was 9 years old with my mum, my stepdad, and my sister. So from a young age, we're kind of taken away from everything that we've really known to go somewhere new, somewhere different. And that's where I spent the majority of my formative years. So I went to secondary school, well, primary school. I finished primary school there. I went to secondary school, and then I did my further education also in England. My dream when I was younger, well, when I was really young, I wanted to be an air hostess or a flight attendant, as they would say now. As I got
Mhm.
older, I really, really was fascinated by the law, and I did a law placement, and I didn't really quite enjoy it. In hindsight, maybe I should have stuck it out, but such is life. And then somehow I ended up in the finance world, even though I studied history at university, but it just seemed so different and so like fast paced. And yeah, I was completely drawn to that. So for the majority of my working life, I was actually a financial advisory expert. So I'm a qualified accountant and I'm also an insolvency specialist. So that's what I specialized in for my working career. And and then I met my then husband, and we actually moved to the Netherlands, and that's where we actually had our kids. This is also where we got married, and this is where we had our two kids. It was never in my dream to move to the Netherlands. Fun fact: I had actually never been to the Netherlands until I actually moved to the Netherlands. So
Wow.
it wasn't really very well planned. But I had complete trust in myself and my husband that we would make it work. And fast forward to today, and we've been living in the Netherlands for 9 years.
Wow.
Now, you asked me about the book. Why did I write this book? I actually wrote this book in 2017, this book and a couple of other books. I was going through a period of not really knowing what I want to do, a period of introspection, because I had left the corporate world and I was thinking, okay, what is it that I want to do with my life? And I suppose it was like an early midlife crisis. But I thought instead of just jumping into something else, really take the time to think, what am I good at? And I just spent lots of time really quiet, really silent, thinking about it. And I guess I was lucky because this also coincided with my children starting at school. So for the
Nice.
first time in like 3, 4 years, I had time in the morning. I had like 3 or 4 hours like every day to myself. So I just
Mhm.
started writing really as a form of therapy, to be honest, because the first 3, 4 years of my children's life was very, very tough. When
Yep.
when you're raising
Have
your kids, if you have family with you, it can be nice. But here
yes.
we are in the Netherlands and we felt quite isolated because we didn't have any family. We had very few friends. And, my husband works really hard and he's traveling a lot. So a lot of it fell on me. And
Mhm.
another fun fact for you, I had never changed a nappy until I had my daughter, my first child. So you can imagine this person who never wanted to have children is now with two children having to do all these things. So it was a real kind of learning curve and it came really quickly. So once my children were in school, I thought,
Mhm.
do you know what? I'm just going to take some time out for me. And thus, this book and other books were born, but particularly because obviously we used to read a lot, and I used to love to read when I was young. And I noticed, when I went to the shops, etc., there weren't that many books with children or, main protagonists that looked like my kids. And when you
Understood.
do see some of them, I mean, there were a lot, you started seeing a progression of more young girls or young mixed race girls or black girls, but they all
Mhm.
had that very same look, big
Mhm.
curly hair, long curly hair or straight hair, and very, very light skinned. So
Mhm.
I really wanted to make this book for my daughter so that she can feel like she's seen, she's heard, and she's loved. She had quite a few challenges actually when she started school. Um, because people, especially particularly where we live in our area, there weren't many other girls who looked like her. For her
Mhm.
school, she was really the only black girl. And
Okay.
I guess on the one hand, she shouldn't have noticed the difference because this is where she was born and she's always been in this environment. But I suppose when you do look different and you are different, it's inevitable that people make you feel different. And a lot of the time, she was made to feel different. Kids
Mm.
would ask very, inquisitive questions, your hair, or they'd make really mean comments like, you look like a sheep. What sort of hair is this? Why is your hair like
No.
that? Those kind of things. And,
Mhm.
for a 4 or 5 year old, they're not really sure how to articulate like the pain or
Ye-
the
Yes.
feeling. So, it's really
Mhm.
me about empowering her to know that she's beautiful and that, her hair is lovely and she is beautiful and she is loved.
Mhm.
So that's really where this story was born. This wasn't even the first one that I wrote, but I really felt strongly that I had to do this one first for my daughter.
And I totally agree. Growing up in the Caribbean, we have this thing about our hair. And I guess
Mm,
we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I know like now as we have gotten older, the natural hair movement is in full force. But when I was growing up, I had this struggle with the straightener and my mom, I had Jerry curls. I remember first I had Jerry curls, and the funny thing about it is that my hair was probably look like how it looks now because this is the
hmm
natural texture of my hair. But I
Yeah.
remember I had Jerry curls, I had straightener in my hair, I had the perm, you name it. My mother probably did all of that because
hmm
that was popular thing. That is what was expected. We weren't taught at a young age to appreciate our natural hair. So I'm really when I saw your book, I was like, I love this because we have young girls, we have little girls, and we also have our boys now because our boys texturize and do all that type of stuff too. So we really need
hmm
to teach our children to appreciate their uniqueness. And our hair is one of our most unique characteristics. Good.
Yeah.
So so when we come back after the break, we're going right into story time with Sharnette as she shares her book, Ada's Wash Day. Okay, over to you, Sharnette.
Hi everyone, I'm back. So I really want to share with you my debut picture book, Ada's Wash Day. Ada's Wash Day is a sweet story which basically follows Ada, a young girl, and her mum on their weekly hair washing ritual, which they do on Sunday morning. And it's where Mama teaches Ada how to care for and look after her hair. In the process, Ada learns to love her hair and her natural hair texture, just the way it is. But also, Mama also learns a little bit more about herself too. So let's begin. This book is dedicated to my own daughter, Adalia, my kinky, coily, curly haired daughter, and all the other beautiful curly haired girls, Zoe, who is actually my goddaughter, Evie, who is my best friend's daughter, and you, the reader. Okay, so let's begin. It's Sunday morning, and Papa and Gabby have gone to the park. I also want to go play outside, Ada moaned. Sorry, Sweet Pea, it's wash day today, replied Mama sweetly. It's not fair. I hate wash day. It takes so long. I hate my hair, Ada shouted, stomping off to her bedroom. Mama followed Ada upstairs. Knock, knock. No reply. Can I come in, please, Sweet Pea? Asked Mama. Okay, replied Ada quietly. Oh, Sweet Pea, it's okay. We can go for a cycle later. Would you like that? Asked Mama. But first, we need to wash your hair. We do the same thing every week. Plus, you went swimming yesterday, so we really have to. Ew, it smells of pool, Ada exclaimed. It will be fun. We can watch your favorite show, Mama replied. Can you tell me again what we need to do? Asked Ada. Sure, Sweet Pea, it goes like this. Shampoo 2 times, condition, and then detangle. That's the bit I don't like, detangling. It takes so long and it hurts. I'm sorry, darling. It won't be so long today, and I hope it won't hurt, Mama assured Ada. Step 1, shampoo. Mama squeezed large dollops of shampoo onto Ada's hair. She then gently massaged the shampoo into the hair, whipping up large amounts of foam and bubbles. My eyes, Ada screamed. I'm sorry, Mama said. It's okay, Mama, Ada replied. Mama continued washing Ada's hair, this time being extra careful not to get any soap in her eyes. Are we almost finished yet? Ada asked. Almost. Shampoo done. Now time for step 2, condition. Would you like to help? Mama asked. Oh, yes, please, Ada replied with enthusiasm. Ada scooped up large amounts of conditioner from the tub, taking her time to smell it before rubbing it all over her hair. It looks like chocolate mousse, but it smells like coconut and honey, said Ada. They worked the conditioner in the scalp and all throughout the strands of her hair. Ada's hair recoiled like a spring. Boing! Ada grabbed her shower cap and placed it on her head. Today we will leave it on for 15 minutes, Mama said. Ada grabbed her tablet and set the timer for 15 minutes. I'm going to do some gymnastics for a bit. That way my hair can get a really good steam. Ring! Went the timer. Ada rushed back to the bathroom. I'm ready, Mama. Okay, step 3. Time to detangle. I promise I will take it slowly, Mama said, trying to reassure Ada. Mama parted her hair into 4 sections and used a black brush to detangle her hair. Voila, finished, Mama exclaimed. That was quick. I didn't feel a thing, Mama, Ada said, smiling brightly. Wow, what beautiful hair you have, Ada. Some kids at school say that my hair is not beautiful. They think I'm a boy because I have boy hair, said Ada sadly. They think you are a boy? Your hair is beautiful, darling. What's boy hair anyway? Asked Mama quizzically. Short, fluffy hair like this, she said, grabbing her hair. They keep making fun of me and I don't like it. I'm sorry, Sweet Pea. Kids can be a bit mean, explained Mama, giving Ada a big hug. I want long, straight hair like my friends. Like you, she said sheepishly. Your hair is your crown. It's what makes you, you, unique and special. That's the beauty of our hair, Sweet Pea. It's so versatile. Mama grabbed the shower head, leant over the bathtub, and gave her hair a good soak. I want to look like you, Mama said. Her long, straight hair transformed into a big cloud of tight curls. We can rock our curly hair together, Mama said, chuckling. They both laughed, rocking with their curly hair. The end. And here we have just a selection of Ada's favorite hairstyles. We tend to do her hair in some twists, some puffs, some cornrows at the front, some twists at the front, or just all back in one. And this is what I love about our hair. It's so versatile. We can do so many different styles depending on how you feel, how you want to look. So there's something to be said about, our beautiful natural hair. And this is my book. And this is the front and this is the back. And you can buy it online at any good online bookstore.
Okay. Now, as a natural hair girl myself, you can see me here with my hair. That was the end of story time, guys. When we come back, we go right back into our interview. Okay, shout out to my good friend Marsha Branch. You can find her on Instagram at chiobella.bb. Now, Marsha was when I first started my natural hair journey. You're transitioning from straightening into the natural hair, and she really inspired me to use natural products because you transition to the natural hair, but then you still
Hmm.
want the that slick look. She was like, no, Carrie, if you're going natural, you have to make sure that you're not using any of those chemicals. So she really inspired me to really get fully natural where my hair was concerned. And as I said right there at the end of story time, as a natural hair girl myself, growing up, I also struggled with my curls. And as the mother of two daughters and one son, have to mention my son or he will get offended. I especially struggle with my older daughter's hair because her hair was, she had a very tight curl. So we went through that similar journey where, like, what the process that my mother would have done with me, I did with her. And then when she was about to finish secondary school, she said to me, Mommy, no, I want to go natural. And if you see her hair now, it's midway down her back, and she has just continued. I think she did a better job than me because even when she started, I started as well. And halfway through, I even went back because I couldn't handle it, but she pursued and she continued, she pushed on. I want to know, do you think that we just struggle with our hair or with the perception related to our hair?
I think we struggle with the perception, or potentially both. Because I think when I think about when I grew up, we had to look proper, prim the whole time. So you couldn't actually just leave your natural hair out. It was just,
Mm-hmm,
it was unheard of to just have your hair in an afro or even just to have your natural curls. So you wash
mm-hmm.
your hair, you do everything, except when you're a baby, you do the water with the comb and the Vaseline and you get your nice curls.
Yes,
I think that
little
was
curl
the
to the
only,
front.
yeah. I think those were the only times that I think from memory that I was allowed to have just my natural hair out. Everything else is that I had to have it twisted or plaited or put into lovely styles and beautiful bows. So I always felt like as a girl, the expectation of me was that I always had to look pretty. I always had to look cute. I always had to look very precise, very proper the whole time. So it's funny, when I went to St. Lucia, I took my kids and my husband to St. Lucia. My daughter's hair was out. And like your daughter, her hair's very, very tight curled. So she has a
Mm-hmm,
little afro.
mm-hmm,
Honestly, you wouldn't believe the amount of people, family, and people I don't even know, stopping me in
mm-hmm.
the street asking me, why am I letting her walk around looking like that? Her hair is perfectly
Seriously?
clean,
Wow.
moisturized, beautiful. Why am I letting her walk around like that? Because the expectation is that little girls have to look very cute, very sweet, very proper. Because I think then the assumption is that people then make assumptions about your family and make assumptions about
Mm-hmm,
you and whether, oh, can she afford baubles? Can she afford ribbons? Has she
mm-hmm.
got the time? So I think that's probably one thing. So we never really get to appreciate our natural hair and our curls and our textures because we're always trying to make it look cute, make it look
Uniform.
controlled. And yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm,
So as I grew up, I never knew how to look after my natural hair either. When we actually moved to the UK, my mum couldn't handle my hair on her own. So
mm-hmm.
she actually cut off all my hair. So in the story, when Ada talks about, she has boy hair, I also went through that stage where I had boy hair,
Or hair. Mm-hmm,
very short hair because it was all cut off and going to school and people are not sure, is she a girl? Is she a boy? I mean, I'm a girl. I look like a girl and I'm wearing a skirt.
mm-hmm,
But again,
mm-hmm.
the assumption is that girls have long, flowy hair or
Yep.
hair that's, in baubles and in cornrows and really pretty and well done. And boys have short hair. So I'm glad to see that that misconception is changing now. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it has been a journey for sure.
Now, I really love the illustrations, especially when you soak your hair and your daughter is able to see and appreciate your crown. I think I love that moment in the book and having both of you there with your crowns. I really love that. Tell us about the illustration that went into your book.
Yes, well, my illustrator, Shireen Saeed, she did an absolutely amazing job. She really captured the spirit and the essence. And I think it all comes through that mother-daughter bond, that mother-daughter love. And as
Mm-hmm,
a mom of a girl, there's something really quite precious about that relationship. And now, I tend to wear my hair either curly or slip back, or I wear it straight. I get my hair blow dried straight. So for a long time, I'm telling my daughter, Adalia, you really need to just love your hair how it is. And she's looking at me thinking, but your hair is straight. I want your hair. You're
So
just
look
like
like
going
mine.
around flossing, flicky, flicky, and she's not. So I was like, you do have a point. So I made a conscious effort then to then wear my hair natural more often. I mean, I do get it straightened as well, but yeah, to wear that more often. So I did really want to show that scene, that mother. I think although we teach our children to care for and to love their hair, they also teach us in return. Because I think how we raise our daughters or how we try to, it kind of raises mirrors like to how we were raised and to how we hope we would have been raised. So showing her that I can listen to her, that I'm taking her her ideas and her thoughts into consideration, that was very important for me. And I really wanted to capture that in the book to show that it's not just mom doing everything, and it's not like it's wash days just happening to Adalia. This is an experience, this is a moment for learning on both sides. So I thought that image really encapsulated that.
Mm. Now, I know during COVID, lots of our boys actually grew out their hair in the online environment. And my father, as well as my husband, they both have locks. So I think it's
Hmm.
important that we teach our boys about self love and in terms of taking care of themselves. I know we've gone back out to work and I'm actually seeing the boys now is I don't want to call this school, but as I was like traveling through town, I've seen the boys
Mm.
now if their hair twisted and they wear them,
Mm.
and it's very presentable. So I think that's it's really important not just to teach our girls about self love, but also to teach our boys about it as well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And also, it's reinforcing that we're all different and we're all unique, and there is no one look of that. This is what a boy should be. This is how a boy should behave. This is how a boy should look. So it's nice when boys get to embrace their hair also, and in turn, they also need to learn how to care for their hair because they need to be able to be independent, be self-sufficient in that way. So funny enough, this book I have had quite a few parents of boys who also have curly hair also comment that they've loved this book. And,
Nice.
potentially in hindsight, maybe Gabby, her brother, should have also been in there, also with his hair, although his hair is short now. But yes, it's absolutely important that boys also recognize that this hair washing day is also a form of self care. Because as you
Mhm,
get older, we don't have much time where we spend one on one time with ourselves. So when you're
mhm.
washing your hair, especially with afro hair, it's such a long day. I mean, we don't call it
Yep.
wash day for no reason, right? So that can also be your part of your own self-care, which yeah, you can incorporate into your routine.
Yeah, because as we get older, dyeing goes into the routine. So washing
Mm.
actually takes up a whole day. So it's a whole process. Even as we get older, that's part of our pampering, self-love routine as
Yeah,
females. So you book a day, when you're going to hairdresser or you're going to get groomed. It's a whole thing now for men. You want to go and get the hair groomed, get the beard groomed. You're doing
exactly.
everything to make sure that you're on point for the event
Hmm.
that you're attending. Now I
But I
know you
find that,
have.
oh,
Sorry, you
sorry.
go ahead. You go ahead. You
I'll
go
say
ahead.
I find that people now, you talk about the movement. People are thinking, I want to look good for me. I'm not trying to look
Mhm,
good for you. I'm going to do my hair however I want. And it ties
mhm,
into even you're talking about your friend who encouraged you to use natural products. And so in the
mhm,
book here, when you see Ada taking the time to smell the products, the natural products that are
mhm,
going to go into your hair, there's something so grounding about that away from those chemically produced ones, but real things that smell like coconut, hibiscus, all the great stuff
mhm.
that we want in our hair. And that kind of reinforces that self-care moment, which is wonderful. Yeah.
Yep, and it kind of reminds me of Rihanna's line where she's trying to channel those natural scents and those
Yes.
natural flavors. Now, I know you have another book that is coming out shortly in July. Tell us a little bit about
Well, this was actually the first book that I wrote back in 2017.
that.
And I titled it Gabrielle's New School.
Mhm,
And I wrote this book really again as a form of therapy when my son started at his new school. It was a bit of a transitional challenge for him. My son was diagnosed with sensory processing disorder, really on the auditory bit. So he has particular challenges kind of with sounds, with loud sounds, with communicating. I mean, he spoke quite late. I mean, now he's a real chatterbox. I say late, but he didn't speak much for a very, very long time. So he's extremely cerebral, but also, the challenge of him going to school, being the only black boy in the school, and having teachers who, basically just were not prepared to be open and showering him with the love and the respect that he deserved. And it was a really, really hard time. He just became a completely different person. He was very aggressive, very angry, very hurt. But because he couldn't articulate that, we couldn't quite pinpoint where the issue was. It's only a couple times when you kind of see him interact with the teachers that you realize that he was just zoning them out. He had no respect for them, no time for them. And there were a couple of situations which are still to this day still quite hurtful for me when I think about how they treated my son. Like, I'll tell you one example. They called me out of the blue and said, "Hey, you need to come pick him up. There's been an issue. You need to pick him up now." And I'm thinking, "Oh my God, what's going on?" So I go to the school, and there is my son. I open the door, and my son is like sat in this high chair, strapped in. Everyone else, all the other kids are on the floor playing, and my son is strapped there, like his face is all puffy and red, and he's got like snot all over his face. And then she's like, "He hit a child." And I said, "Okay, can you just tell me what happened?" Well, this child apparently destroyed his building that he was working on for a long time and then kicked him. So I thought, so there seems to be an issue here, but only my son has been strapped in this chair. Honestly, it took everything that I had as self-control and discipline to not go crazy up in there. But
I totally understand.
it was in that moment I knew that I had to remove my son from this situation. Even if I had to give them whatever amount of months' notice, I had to keep him home. So then I kept him home for 2 months and really just tried to rebuild him, rebuild that love, that self-care, and really just pour it into him on a daily basis. And eventually, after about a month, I was like, okay, I really should start looking for another school because it's a shame that he's not going to be getting that socialization. And then we found this school. And the minute that we went to this new school, it was just a completely different thing. For a start, actually, on the first day, at the end of the first day when I picked up my son, the teacher was like, "We read the report that was sent through from the other school. And honestly, we just had to rip it up because she said it was so negative and so poisonous that she felt that if everyone read this, they would start to really think that your boy is a problem child. And we really want him to come to this new school, like, just with an open mind."
A fresh
And she said,
start.
"I do not recognize that child that they're talking about in this report. Your son is loving, he's sweet, he's polite, he's so talkative, things that just wasn't what it was before." So really, the book, Gabrielle's New School, is looking at that transition to the new school, the tension and the anxiety that the mum has from having been through that experience. Because obviously you hold that space and you hold it for your son and your children. Whereas children tend to they can kind of displace emotions to some extent and they're much more open to trying. So it's really going to that new school with that tension and anxiety from mum, and mum kind of trying not to push that anxiety and stress onto the child. But then obviously, he gets kind of PTSD when he goes into the door, and then he just kind of switches and changes. And then we see how we encourage him to go back into school. And then obviously then mum has to come back at 1 p.m. and she's just a bunch of nerves at the door thinking, what's going to happen? Oh my God. And then she opens the door and sees a happy, smiling son. So it really is like a journey story.
Yes, and as a special ed teacher, and I know that I know sometimes a child may have sensory issues, and I guess you as a teacher, you really have to sit down and get to know the child and appreciate the child. And as we say, student who are here is unique. Each child is unique.
It's unique, absolutely.
Yeah. So we have to treat each child as if they are a unique person, a unique being, and treat to their differentiation, basically. So that's the best word that I can use there. There are probably better words, but right now I'm just so overwhelmed because I'm saying, yes, my first sheroe is indeed a sheroe. She's out there. She's fighting for her son and her daughter, and I love it. Now, children, you can visit our Facebook and YouTube channel page to state what activity Ada did with her mom prior to wash day. Is it A, a day at the beach? Is it B, a track meet? Or is it C, a day at the pool? So you can type your answers in the comment section. Now, how important is your story to teaching young girls and boys about loving all of themselves? Because we know sometimes our boys are not fans of wash day, because in the Caribbean culture, we know a wash day, like we said previously, is a good scrub down. How do you?
Yeah, I think it's a very important story, and I think the thread through the story is one of patience and love, and really open to learning on both fronts. So I think it's a really nice story because it actually shows Black parenting from a soft side. You know, this
Mm,
is not forcing, saying you have to do this, you have to do this now. It's not rough, it's measured, it's controlled, it's incorporating the child into the process, it's understanding what they need, obviously teaching in that moment, but allowing it to go a little bit slower, you know, taking the time to ask questions, to listen. I think that's what's really important because, you know, unfortunately, maybe our parents and parents before them, I guess they didn't have the privilege or the luxury sometimes to be soft, to sometimes feel that they can be gentle and whatever. We always felt, well, I always felt like, you know, they were very tough on me. Like my
mhm,
grandparents, especially, were very, very tough on me. You really had, they were very strict. But
mhm,
sometimes I just felt like if only things had slowed down a bit, taken the time to kind of get to know me a little bit more about what I like, what I want to do, then I think maybe a lot of things would have been different. But, you know, that's looking with hindsight. So I think
mhm.
this story is just really important to just show that love that comes with Black parenting and Black families. Like we do love our children, we do love to learn, we do love to spend time with them. And that was one thing I really wanted to be a constant thread through the book.
Well, I can definitely feel it in Ada's wash day, and I'm looking forward to Gabriel's first day. I hope I say
New
I have it
school.
Gabriel's new school. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading that book as well. Like I said, empowering both our young Black girls and our young Black boys and letting them know that they have the love of a sheroe, a mother, right behind them. Now, when we come back, it's time for a BAJAN mashup. I hope you're ready, Sharnette.
I am.
No, BAJAN mashup. First question. Bajans love coleslaw, and one of the main ingredients are carrots. And carrots are orange. Do you know why carrots are orange?
I think historically carrots were more purplish red, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the orange comes from, funny enough, from the Netherlands, I think,
Yes.
with the Dutch farmers. And legend has it that it's because obviously the Dutch monarchy is called the House of Orange, so they wanted to make it orange, but I don't know.
Yeah, actually, when I did my research in Kim, I was like, wow, I never even knew that. So that orange color came from the Netherlands. So next time you grate your carrot and you're having your coleslaw, boys and girls know that it's because of the Netherlands that we have our lovely orange carrot. Question number two. Is it true that the Dutch people are the tallest people in the world?
I think that's actually true. Yes. Um, they are extremely tall, but well proportioned because they don't look tall. You know, they come from a distance, you think, oh, he's not tall. And you come up
Mhm.
next to him and he's like 6'3", and I'm quite petite. I'm 5'3", maybe 5'4", you know, if I'm stretched well. But
Yeah, two of us, two of us.
but they are very, very tall. So when my kids were born, you know, they were always under, like when you look at the curves and the line, in weight, in height, in everything. Now my daughter is actually over. So I'm not sure if that will keep going, but maybe it's the Dutch water or the Dutch milk or cheese. I don't know.
I like that. How long is a flight from the Netherlands to, say, the Caribbean or Barbados? How long is
Mm.
a flight?
Well, I don't think there's any direct flights actually. I've not checked because whenever we go to St. Lucia, we go to London and then we go straight. So I think in total it will be about 10 hours with maybe a stop in between.
Oh, okay. All right. Can you say something in Patois for me or something in Dutch for us? Either or, your preference.
Okay, my password is terrible. I've never really been so good at it, but maybe Sakafet, that's an easy one, right? So I'll
Hmm?
give you that one. In Dutch, oh, mind blank. Oh, het is gezellig. That's a
Oh,
very
what?
tough Dutch word to say. Gezellig. It
Casella?
means gezellig. Yeah.
Casella. Mm-hmm.
It's very guttural. It just means like something is really, cute and lovely and really warm and tingly and yeah. I think the Swedish have a similar Swedish or Norwegian have a similar word called hygge, and it kind of means the same thing in that sense. You know, that vibe, that energy. Like for example, imagine like walking into this really lovely restaurant, like soft light, the roaring fire, you can smell the food. There's like laughter. There's good music. Yeah, that's gezellig.
Yeah, Casella like us. Natural, cute, and
Yeah.
curly. Yeah. Now, I know you love to cook as well. What Barbadian food would you love to try if you come here?
Definitely cuckoo and flying fish. Because
I'm gonna
obviously, I think, yeah, you're
I
going to make it
made
for me?
that. I'm gonna make that for you, I also made that on National Heroes Day. So
Oh,
yeah,
no
cuckoo, cuckoo and flying fish. Yeah, yeah.
way. Yeah. And also, I'm obsessed with cornmeal. I could eat that almost every day, but I'm so greedy. So that's another thing. Yes, I will just eat the whole pan.
What I can probably do is I can share. I have a quick recipe that you do in the microwave for cuckoo and flying fish. So I'll
A
share that with
microwave?
you in
Really?
the
Yes, please.
microwave. In under 30 minutes, you can have a steaming dish of cuckoo and flying fish. Not the flying
Oh,
fish, of course, but the cuckoo
yes, the
definitely for
cuckoo.
you to enjoy.
Ah,
And
yes,
so I'll
please.
share
Thank you.
that with you. So good. So that's it for BAJAN Masha. I had fun. I hope Sharnette had fun too.
I did.
All right. So that's it. Now, during our last show, Simon says the answer was stalactites and stalagmites. The riddle went, Simon says, from the icy floor I rise, and from the ceiling I fall. After thousands of years we meet, but you cannot touch. Who, what, or where am I? And the answer was stalactites and stalagmites. This week, Simon Says goes, catch flies up, up, and away. Who, what, or where am I? Let me repeat it again. Simon says, catch flies up, up, and away. Who, what, or where am I? Now remember, children and parents, to like, comment, and share our Reading to the 246 Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Special thanks to my this week's Shiro, Sharnette. Thank you for agreeing to be a part. You can also like and follow Sharnette at Sharnette Donacien on Facebook and on Instagram on the slash underscore little big story. Again, thank you, Sharnette. You can repeat that for me in case I messed it up. So you can go right ahead.
No, it was fine. It was good. Yes, you can follow me on Instagram on at underscore little big stories and on Facebook at Sharnette Donacien. Or you can head to my website, www.littlebigstories.eu. It's been a privilege. It's been really fun to be here. I actually have visited Barbados, I think twice. The last time was a very, very long time ago, but I look forward to coming back. My dad actually lives in Barbados. So, yeah. Hopefully one day I'll be coming soon.
So we not only hear about this Barbadian connection at the end. Oh my gosh.
Oh, did I not
But
tell you?
no, we didn't mention that.
Well, there are
Barbados.
lots of St. Lucians in Barbados, aren't there?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah, so my
yes.
dad is one of them. He's a professor at UE. Yeah,
Okay,
so
nice,
he lives
nice,
there.
nice. Wow. Barbados, St. Lucia, Netherlands, London. We're all over the place, all over the
Reading
Caribbean people.
246 is global.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So again, thank you again for joining Reading to the 246. And reading to the 246 wants to remind you reading takes you where your imagination can. Have a great evening, guys.
Bye, everyone.